No, I don't think so either.
Well, we're gonna rewind, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. RJ, we are back.
It's been a little while. It feels like it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be recording again.
It does. I looked at the date of our last recording, and I could have sworn it was well over a month ago, and it was really not. It was just a couple of weeks, but it feels like a much longer time. But I feel like
it is also the month.
Yeah, exactly.
To do that, right?
Yep, it is. We took our break. Everybody else went on vacation. We did too. The athletes are back. They're training, and so are we. So we're getting our reps in. We're gonna start putting in the miles, start putting in the the work on our roller skis, and we're getting back into it.
So how's the ordering of those going? Did you receive them yet?
Not yet. They say they might be here sometime around November, so we'll see. They didn't know what to do with them. They said we don't ship these as far south as Florida, so we're gonna have to go drive up and receive them somewhere.
Man, I'm so tempted to send you a pair.
If you do, I'll take a video of me going down around the lake with the alligators. So, yeah.
I may have to chat with Katie first before I get into trouble.
I think she wants me to stay safe and not get eaten.
No, but it's not necessarily dangerous.
Yeah. So, it's not dangerous for most people, but you haven't seen me. I hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day weekend. It was Mother's Day here in the States, and I believe probably in Canada as well. We had a surprise visit from my parents, which was nice. So that was a nice little time to have with the kiddos. And
nice.
Yeah, it was good. I think I did well with my Mother's Day present for Katie, so that was good. Always want to make sure I do okay.
Comfortable sharing, or?
Yeah, sure. It was earrings, and it was so our son and daughter, Alex and Ben, and there's a earring and a B earring, and they've got their birthstones in them. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Katie loved it. So I feel like I did pretty well.
That's nice. Talk about earrings. Completely digressing already. I bought some for my wife for her birthday in April, and they have these really cool ones where they let's assume it's all true and not just some marketing, but they have people in the rainforest that go to certain areas and find dead butterflies. Oh. And then they take the wings and they basically put it in like a silver pendant.
Wow.
And then and make earrings and what do you call it, on a necklace. And they're so cool. So she has one pair, and I got her another one, and she was super excited. But it's just such a beautiful idea. And like I said, they claim that they only use butterflies that already died of natural causes. And
yeah, that's very well done.
Yeah,
strong work, RJ. Mother's Day is a time where all men should be able to pat themselves on the back.
Yeah. It's funny though, because when I grew up, Mother's Day was really about pampering your own mother.
Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't say to a friend's mom, Happy Mother's Day, because she's not my mom. Where here in Canada, I'm guessing in North America, and maybe now in Europe as well, there's a lot more emphasis on pampering mothers in general. Which, I think both are great, but it's a perspective that I have a hard time with sometimes. Not a hard time that I don't want to, but more to, it's not in my mind to think about it that way. So a lot of times when Mother's Day comes up, I'm encouraging the boys to, do something for my wife, but I don't necessarily see it as my job. Like I should take care of my mom. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my wife's not my mom. Yeah. But it's funny how there's these small different interpretations, I guess.
Yeah.
that you're not really aware of unless you're kind of directly exposed to it. It's the same in Holland. You would say, let's say if it's Katie's birthday, I would say to you, congratulations with Katie.
Yeah.
Where here, that's not really typical, right? You would say,
do it. Yeah.
say congrats to Katie, but no, I wouldn't congratulate you with Katie's birthday. But anyway.
I think I should be congratulated for her birthday.
I can congratulate you on buying a super cool gift for her.
Yeah, I'm obviously being sarcastic. Speaking of biathlon,
but I will say though, no, sorry, I'm going to go back to Mother's Day because I still find it amazing. We've seen it last year with Baiba and Justine Breza-Boucher, and I think is it Fialkova was coming back after having a baby,
and Milena Todorova as well from Bulgaria, and we'll talk a lot more about Bulgaria later. But
I mean, I'm not even going to...
Martels Roysland recently retired.
Yeah.
Annie Chevalier-Boucher. So we've got lots of biathlon moms, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and you would say I can only imagine what it's like to go through a pregnancy, but I really can't. Mm-hmm. And anything that I imagine that it would feel like, I don't want to think about because it's... So a sincere kudos to all moms out there for, when they say... I stayed home to look after the kids. That's the hardest bloody job you can think of.
Oh my God.
And, you do it out of love. And because it's for your own kids, you can't call it babysitting or, whatever it is that you would say with other kids. But it is, I think, the toughest job in the world. And obviously the majority of women are really, really good at it. So hats off to all the moms there.
Yeah, but better than us, going back to biathlon for a second, I have really enjoyed, no, seriously, I've enjoyed seeing, especially Baiba's done it, she's documenting her training with her son. So I think that's pretty cool. So I was just pulling up her Instagram page and, it's just,
Did you take
neat
some shots yet?
Not yet, but there's a shot of her, giving, her son a bottle on the range, which I thought was just pretty cool.
I haven't really been on social media much, but I can picture her biking with a buggy behind her.
Oh, yeah. Well, we saw her running with
and a rifle sticking out on the side.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I look, we need to catch up with her soon, just because I want to. She's just fun to chat with, and I would just love to know how she's doing out there.
May also Mental Health Month.
Yes.
To all people out there that either suffer from mental health or are exposed to it in one way or another. Everybody that is not exposed to it, be happy. And unfortunately, something that you can't really see on a person, but it doesn't mean that people don't have it. And all you can do is listen and be there for when they reach out. So just wanted to... I echo those sentiments entirely. And I think that especially in sport, we see the athletes and we see what they do, and not everybody is as open as Emilia and Jacqueline has been, with their struggles. So, just something that I know that I need to keep in mind better, because, sometimes I'll make a joke about something that happens during a race, and, you don't know what impact that necessarily has on the athletes. But you go through all this training and it's hard. It's a hard, very
life
humbling
to be
sport.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it's a hard life to be a professional athlete, especially in this sport.
Yeah. You mentioned a lot of news lately.
Yeah.
Anything that is trying to roll off your tongue as soon as you get a chance?
Yeah, well, no, I was going to say Doro has held a press conference in May, which just, when I think a lot of us had this reaction when we saw that she was having a press conference, that, you don't have a press conference to announce you're coming back. You have a press conference to announce that you're officially retiring. The timing of it in May, and then she surprised us, of course, and said not only is she coming back for next year, but she's coming back for 2 more years and is going to race through the 2026 Olympics. So I'm excited about that.
Although she has also mentioned that I think earlier in the season she mentioned something like, well, that would probably be the goal, but, things can change really quick. And was it live streamed on Doro TV?
Doro TV, yes. No, it was somewhere, right? You can actually, it's on YouTube. You can see it. And so she does her announcement in Italian and she says it in English as well. But man, this woman.
In the end, it's cool for the sport to have a character like that who brought a lot of attention to women's biathlon in a positive way, obviously. And I think if she can make it to the Olympics, I think that would be awesome for her.
Oh, phenomenal! And think about what a moment that would be for the Italian team. You have Doro and Vitozzi there, who have been two of the best, two overall champions, and obviously in different stages of their career. Assuming Vitozzi's still kind of in the late stages of her peak, and Doro clearly at the end, and then you'll have the younger generation coming up as well with Hanna Ackenthaler and Rebecca Passler and Samuela Komola, and there are a few others that are still coming up in the IBU and the junior. So who knows who's going to round out that team? But it's going to be a lot of fun. Even if all she does, was that
the fifth person might not be overly excited if Doro sticks around. But
that's true. But I was going to say just to have that group there and maybe she only races in like the individual or something like that. But it'll be fun to be able to see her out there at all. I just also wanted to say that she's brought, so you mentioned so much attention to biathlon, and I've had multiple people when I retweeted and commented on her announcement that she's coming back. Multiple people responded saying that she's the reason why they got interested in biathlon or started following it more closely. So I think a lot of people, I've been open about how Tarjei Boa kind of had that for me, and his announcement to continue was very exciting, and I just think that there's this generation of athletes where that are coming to the end, and a lot of people have that tie to those athletes. And
well, I must say, like, she really, because when you think of Fourcade and Bjørndal and Neuner, like some of the top athletes, they weren't really spotlight people. Maybe that goes together a little bit with biathlon, and I think Doro was maybe one of the first superstars in biathlon. And she had the big sponsorship with Red Bull really early, and I think she just opened the door for a lot of people that maybe weren't like you said, she was sort of an introduction to biathlon, and
she was the gateway drug.
Yeah, but no, it's really cool that she's sticking around.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to see it, and if we can get 2 full years, that would be awesome. So that'll be great. Had some other news about women in biathlon. Stina Nilsson, since we last spoke, has said that she is not going to continue with the Swedish team, Swedish biathlon. She's going to be returning to cross-country skiing, but not in the same manner in which she was previously. I think she's going to be doing more long-distance stuff. So really interesting career when you look at it. Obviously had a lot of...
Yeah, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it used to be called the Visma Ski Classics. So it's like the Birkebeiner and the Marcialonga, I think it's called in Italy, and Vasaloppet. And I don't know if you've ever seen those races, but they're like 100-kilometer ski marathons.
Good gracious.
With, they probably started a long time ago, but I'd followed it for a while, and the last time I followed it was maybe 2-3 years ago, and the majority of the field does everything double pulling. So it is a classic race, but they wear basically skate skis, and all they do is double pull, even up the hill.
That sounds miserable. Why would anybody do that?
Because it's the fastest way. And I know that the FIS, the organization that runs the cross-country world championships, etc., and the World Cup, I think they have races, classic races, where there's actually sections where you have to classic stride, like you can't double pull. And I don't know if that's in these marathon races as well, but it's, when you're thinking of a long cross-country skiing race, I'll automatically think of classic, the traditional races, the 50 kilometers at the Olympics, that kind of thing. And to just see somebody like double pull for a number of hours in a row is, I don't know. It's really different, because if you see the body composure, I guess, it's all these, fairly skinny dudes, but then with these massive upper bodies.
All their weight is from their chest up.
Yeah, although there's a lot of core and it's interesting, because especially in countries like Sweden, Norway, the very traditional cross country skiing, there was a lot of resistance from the more traditional viewers that were like, well, it should not be allowed, and it's not really classic. But I would say they kind of lost out, because it's, I think none of the professionals classic. With that in mind, I think we talked about this last season, that when we were talking about should athletes race not in their national teams but in mixed teams, that kind of thing, and these ski classics are one of those tours that they just have teams with professional athletes mixed from Norway, Sweden, Italy, Germany, you name it. So they have that approach, and they've had for a long time. So, she is skiing with the Auckland brothers from Norway. If you remember, I think a couple of seasons ago, there was like a social media challenge of the Auckland brothers posted that they skied, I think it was like 200 something kilometers in 24 hours. And then another group beat them, and then they were going to go out and beat them again. And I think Anders Auckland, I think he's the oldest. It's a bunch of brothers, I think. And he was still racing when he was either close to 50 or just over 50. Like, I think he's almost my age. And to double pull for 100 kilometers is like, man, but it's an animal. If you see some of his videos, he's just like one chunk of muscle, and it's unbelievable.
And so this is who
he
she's
also
going
on
to
the Norwegian team at some point.
This is who she's going to go work with, going to go compete with.
Yeah, I think he's a coach now. Yeah, and they usually, well, from what I watched, they start at the women, and then, I don't know, like an hour later, the men would start. So it was always interesting to see where the men at some point would catch up with the women, and some of the women would stick with the men, and anyway, another sidestep there from biathlon, but it
was kind of interesting because, Stina, she obviously had a lot of success on the cross country World Cup, and then comes with great fanfare to Biathlon World Cup, and I think it was her second season. I think the first season she spent mostly on the IBU Cup. Second season she was on the World Cup, and she had that podium. Do you remember this? It was like near the end of the season, and she got second place, and there's a lot of overreaction. I was probably involved in it, about how, now that she's learned how to shoot, look out, it's she's going to be dominating, and that was really it, right? I mean, nobody should ever poo-poo, or discredit or discount, getting a podium on the World Cup. It's incredible, but just from the reaction, I think everyone was anticipating more and more and more of those. But that seemed to be kind of the peak of her career, and was never quite able to recapture that. And I think you've documented in some of your work how, as she progressed in biathlon, the ski speed that we anticipated she would have, she kind of lost, just sort of faded, and she wasn't nearly as fast anymore.
Yeah, I compared her to Lampic at some point, and just looked at her change in ski speed compared to shooting. And I think with Lampic, it's a bit early to say. Who also lost a really strong shooter in his own time as a coach.
Yeah.
Rico Gross was her shooting coach, or maybe general coach. And he is moving to the Bulgarian team, I believe. Which
is very exciting.
Is he going to be a head coach? Or is he going to be...
I would say yes, but I can't say that with 100% certainty because I didn't note that detail. But I just am very excited about him being, because the Bulgarians just they've cropped up. I think we mentioned them when we were talking about the university games this year, and they keep cropping up like with some young talent as well, especially on the women's side. Obviously, we talked about Milena Todorova and how she was out with. She was pregnant last year, but then there was also Valentina Dimitrova and Laura Hristova, who are both like 20, 21 years old. They're very young. So just a lot of interesting talent there, and then the men as well. I'm excited. It's nice to see the investment, I would say, from the
Well, it's
the men.
Definitely a sign that you're taking it serious, right? So
yes, very much so, right? I guess we'll hopefully. I don't know if we'll see much this year as far as results go. I guess he'll have had the entire summer. It's not like he's joining with the team in September. So hopefully, we'll see some improvements. But I don't know. I like I said, I'm excited. I didn't have any idea where he would end up, and this is probably as exciting as it could have been, at least for me, just because there's a lot of development potential there.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know. It's in a way, it's just kind of a safer job too, right?
Yeah.
If you want to start your career. I mean, he's been doing this for a number of years, so he's not new to it. But I don't know. Like you said, it's good to see that there is this knowledge spreading from, we have Tobias in Poland, and we have Erland in Czech Republic. I know that's no longer the case, but
he was there for what, 4 or 5 years, right? He was there for a number of years, though. Yeah.
Roisland is still in Germany, right?
Yep.
And I saw on the Austrian, they have a new women's head coach.
The Austrian women do?
Yeah.
So
52-year-old Gößweiner.
Oh.
And he was training the second training group for 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And he's now taken over from Marcus Fischer.
Huh.
So it's
I'm interested how that's going to work out.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and the Czech squad has brought on board Luca Bormolini and Lucas Dostal for the women, and Morovich is going to be the men's coach, or is going to join the men's coaching team.
Why does the name sound familiar?
Because he was a biathlete. He retired like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I was thinking of the coach of the German national team. I think he's a Czech as well.
Oh,
I'm digging really deep now.
Yeah.
He took over last year from a coach who had been there for a long time.
Lucas Bormolini is the older brother of Thomas Bormolini, the Italian biathlete who retired just a couple of years ago, who also he and his partner Eva Puskarchikova just welcomed their child into the world. So
nice.
Congratulations to them. big couple of months for the Bormolini family.
No kidding. I don't know if you saw anything on social media, but I'm also reading on the Austrian website that about a week ago, Simon Eder officially announced that he keeps going.
Yes. And I think he said something about going through the Olympics as well. He didn't say it officially, but
what I'm getting.
That's his goal. Yep. So yeah, a lot of fun news. Eder, I just want him to keep going, buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Why stop at 2026? 2030, that should be the goal.
Do you happen to know, like, is it known where the World Championships are? Because this year's Lenzerheide, then we have the Olympics. Do you know when it's announced where the next one is? Because if they would put it in Austria a couple of years after the Olympics, he might just stick around, right?
Yeah, I can actually find out for you.
I was confused by the Austrian team, because it looks like Anna Gantler was the only athlete in the national team, kind of.
Yes.
Which, to me.
Sorry.
I know they,
Lisa Teresa Hauser, you're kicked out.
Yeah, but like, how can you have a national team with one person?
I think I don't know. Some of these teams do this, where it's almost like a distinction without a difference. It's just sort of to distinguish, like, this is our leader, but doesn't really change anything else. Like, I remember.
Well, I wonder if it has to do with
the Italian, right? Was that?
I wonder if it has to do with budget.
Finances.
Because you have the national team is Anna Gantler, then you have the A-Kader, which is like Group A, with Anna Andexer, Lisa Hauser, Christina Oberthaler, Leah Rotschopf, and Tamara Steiner. And then the B-Kader is Anhaus, Juppe, Pizza, Wagner, Zduch, which, they were in the World Cup team, right? Anna Jupp and Dunja Zduch. And then they have Heigl, Millinger, Osel, Pinter, Schrempf, Stolberger are in the C-Kader, so that's, my guess is the younger ones.
Oh, Austrian names just make me so happy.
Yes, so for the men, there is no national team, but they have like Group A, which is Simon Eder, Patrick Jakob, David Komatz, and Fabian Mühlauer.
Because last year it was Eder and Hauser were whatever their top group were. It was the two of them. So that's interesting. Yeah,
and I don't know, Dominique Unterweger, he was on the World Cup as far as I know, but he's in the B team. Langegger, Christian Langegger, Felix Leitner, they're also in the B group.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I also see a Magnus Steiner, which I don't know if he's Tamara's brother, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Just to close the loop, you asked where the World Championships. In 27, they're in Ottawa, and beyond that, we don't know.
Oh, okay. So the Germans also came out with...
They did.
Their national teams.
Yeah.
And again, they have Lehrgangsgruppe, so that's kind of the learning stage, maybe. So they have Juliana Freuwirth. I can't say that rings a bell to me, to be honest.
Yep, she's very good.
What's that? Very young?
She's very good, yeah.
And then with Grosjean, Hettich Waltz, Kebinger, Preutz, Sophia Schneider, Vanessa Vogt, Anna Weidel. And then the next group is Mareike Braun, Selina Kastel, Lisa Spark, Marion Wiesensater.
I think that might be last year's list.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Because the list I had for their top level team, they had Groschen, Hettich Waltz, Kebinger, Preutz, Schneider, and Vogt. But that was
okay. Yeah, because here they have Poof and Tannheimer. They're in like the third group.
Oh,
This is the National Biathlon website. Anyway, sorry.
I wonder if they just didn't update it yet, because I see them in the second group. Fichtner, Kink, Scheer, Schumann, Spark, and Tannheimer in the second group.
It's amazing how many of these websites are not up to date.
Out of date? Yeah, I agree. I struggle with that sometimes. Because
I
look
at them. Like they have...
And it's
not like they have 50 pages. Like you just have a page for the coaches, for the athletes, and maybe some news.
Yeah. And also some of them, they just look like they were designed in about 1998, and just the design has never changed. You know what I mean? And
what I'll say, I'd much rather look at an outdated style than an outdated content.
That's a good point. Yes.
Because there's some that have super, super flashy, like big pictures and everything, but then the information hasn't been updated for 3 years. It's like, wow.
So I think that's a little bit out of date. I think with the we've talked about this before, but who would you say is your captain of the A team for the Germans, of that Groschen, Hettig-Waltz, Kabinger, Poof, Preutz, Schneider, Vogt group?
My first thought was Vogt.
Yeah.
But if Preutz is healthy, it would be her.
And the other cool thing I thought was that Kabinger is still on that list.
Say that. You think so? I think she earned her spot. She just had a miserable season with health.
I think the reason I say that is just because she did have a miserable season with health, and this current roster, as it's there's so much young talent that one miserable season with health could be enough to, bump you off, right? It's just
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm happy that they left her there. Because she did come back and she had a relay. I want to say just before the World Championships, or was it at the World? No, it was not at World Championships, where she was on the relay, and you could definitely see she was struggling, but helped them hang on to a podium spot. So, and that was kind of her big moment from the year. But I'm happy they left her there, and I'm very excited for what she can do next year.
But what a depth!
Oh, I know. Yeah,
it almost feels a bit like the Norwegian men, where they have too many talented athletes and they can't please everybody because they just don't have enough spots.
I know, and if you're on that, you better perform, because Tannheimer and Fichtner and Kink, they're coming. Yeah. There's no room. We're talking. Yeah. So Hettig-Waltz had a very solid year last year. Preutz, obviously top talent. Vogt was again in the top 10. So, and we've seen Kabinger do it. We know Selina Groschen has the talent. It's just Schneider. She stepped in the World Cup and anchored the podium relay team. So, it's just a lot of talent. And then you look at the men's side and you kind of go, it's a lot of guys who are good enough to get on the podium, but not consistently, I don't think. Right? Philipp Horn, Simon Kaiser, Johannes Kuhn, Roman Rees, Daniela Riedmüller, Justus Strello, David Zobel.
I think Riedmüller is kind of one of the younger guys, but he's not that young either, right?
25, 26, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any 19 or 20-year-old that is knocking on the door, it seems.
No, I know. It's really, you see this, right? Because talked about the Norwegian men, and they've got so much young talent coming up. And not that the women are not talented, don't get me wrong, but the men just seem to be more talented than the women.
Deeper,
and they sort of flipped for the Germans.
Yeah. After not that long ago, there was a major concern about the women's biathlon in Germany.
Very not that long ago. It was like a season and a half ago.
Yeah, but for countries that are used to winning, if they don't win enough for a year, then they get antsy and start questioning maybe.
I did it again. Preuss. I always put a T in there for some reason.
Oh, you probably got that from me because I keep saying Preutz.
No, I get it because that's what they say on the broadcast. Oh, so that's just what I've been hearing for years. Yeah. But
Team Canada also announced Emma Lunder, Nadia Moser, Benita Pfeiffer, and Pascal Paradis.
Yes, Pascal Paradis. She's there. Yeah. She's on the senior national team. So I'm really excited about that. I've been talking about her for the duration of this podcast, but she's still very young. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, and I say her name in Canadian French, but she's from Calgary, so I don't know if she does pronounce it in French or not. But
is it what would it be?
I don't know.
I don't know how else to pronounce it.
Paradis, yeah.
Paradis.
Given her first name is Pascal, my guess is that either she has at least roots in Quebec or France, but maybe not personally, but maybe her parents or before that. But
I know she only ran.
Yeah, and on the men's side,
I would say she only ran the first trimester last year, but she her first races, she went 15th, 17th, 21st, 17th, 6th. And then the third weekend not as solid, but I mean she had a string there where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Her first 9 races on the IBU Cup, her worst finish was 26th. I'm just really excited about her.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, and she's just 22. I'm just telling you, man. This is going to be it. This is going to be she's going to have just a tremendous career.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
On the men's side, Logan Plitz and Adam Runnels were officially announced for the senior team.
So weird not seeing a gal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, your first thinking is, they made a mistake or they left somebody off accidentally, but
yeah.
I don't see a couple of names actually. Just scrolling down here, but Zach Connolly and I can't remember his first name. Berklam.
Oh, from
a
from
number
last year.
of races.
Yeah.
He
got some amazing screen time. I think at the World Championships because he was racing near the end.
But I don't see them listed in either the national senior team or the national development team. I
just assumed he would be on the development team.
No.
I apologize. I'm going to go back a second, but I look at the women's team with Emma Lunder and Nadia Moser, Benita Pfeiffer, Pascal Paradis. I'm really excited about that team. Assuming that this is official for Emma Lunder coming back. I think Nadia Moser showed some good things. Benita Pfeiffer is still really young. I think she's early 20s, isn't she?
That's a good mix. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and Nadia Moser is 26, 27 in that range. Yeah. Benita Pfeiffer is 23. She'll be 24 for the next season. It's a good mix. There's good talent there. I don't know. I'm not going to go say that, this team is going to be amazing and they're going to be, top 6 every single relay race, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did it once,
Mm-hmm.
If everyone has their A race together, they could do it.
Interesting too with Emma and Christine Gau obviously being each other's partners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Christian would still travel with the team in another capacity, maybe coaching or something like that. But I can imagine that would be a bit weird after so many years traveling together. And if your partner is in the same tour, then at least you get to spend time with each other a lot more than when somebody would stay home. So it's going to be interesting how that's going to pan out. But
or she spends a year traveling with the girls.
Yeah, well, who knows, right?
Yeah.
And I have no idea what their arrangements were when they were on the biathlon tour anyway. So may not be. I
think we asked her last year, and she said that they did stay together most weekend. It depended on the rooms that they had. Yeah.
Right.
Also, one other thing is that Canada has the best town names. So I just look at where Nadia Moser's from. She's from Whitehorse. I just think it's great.
Oh,
Anyway.
I thought there was a whole list coming up now. But
No, Whitehorse, that's great. Regina, that's another one on here.
Regina.
Oh, is that what it is? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, look, I got it wrong. Yeah. There are a couple of Reginas on there. Golden is another one. I just think they're great names.
I like Whistler too.
Whistler's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and they out east they have like places like Sault Ste. Marie, and I'm saying it wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, there's
well, and there's what? There's like Medicine Hat, right? Isn't that a place?
Medicine Hat, yeah.
Yeah.
There's two large cities, both called St. John, but one is spelled SAINT and the other is ST period, I think. And when people from out there, because I think one is either New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, and the other is on Newfoundland. And people
ridiculous.
that are from there, they instantly hear, which one they're talking about. But I think for an outsider, it's probably like, okay, which one are we?
Moose Jaw, isn't Moose Jaw one?
Yep,
Moose Jaw. Yeah, I love Canadian town names. Anyway, maybe when Katie and I move there, we won't move to a big city. We'll move to a tiny little town just so I can say I'm from Moose Jaw.
Yeah,
that's an idea, right?
I'm just trying to think. I know there's more. Wood Buffalo.
Wood Buffalo,
or is that a park? Oh, I don't know if that has a town in it called Wood Buffalo, but anyway, yeah no, there's definitely some cool names.
Anyway, that's my my tangent on saying I actually am really excited about the Canadian women this year. The Canadian men is just going to be so weird, and I don't know, are they going to call up a couple of guys from the development team for relays, or are they just not going to run in the relays? I don't know.
I wish I could tell you more, but
yeah. Well, we'll find out. Hopefully, we'll find out this summer before the season begins.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the national team coaching.
Myra Green
and other people involved.
Janice Grunwald, Anna Marino. I feel like I've seen Anna Perry. I feel like I've seen all these women racing already.
Yeah, and some of them are on the BATC.
Yeah,
Biathlon
maybe that's
Training Center.
Yeah,
that Matthias used to.
Yeah,
run. Yeah, because remember I was talking to Trevor on the Canadian national team, and he was doing I think he was doing high performance development. I don't see his name on the national website anymore.
Yeah, Trevor Kears.
Well, he's retired, right?
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah,
I thought that's where you were meaning.
Oh no, sorry, no, there was another Trevor that was he was manager of high performance and development, I think.
Okay.
Who I was talking to a couple times about doing some work for them, and maybe he's still there, but never really came to fruition. But I don't see him on the list here. But
I'm going to renew my call. I can't. There's no store on here. I would like I love the Biathlon Canada logo with the biathlete coming out of the maple leaf, and I want.
Oh, what do you want? The headband?
Yeah, a headband or a jacket. I think it'd be great.
Okay, I have a headband and I have a toque.
Do you really?
So, yep.
Where'd you get it?
I got those from Matthias.
Oh, well, okay. I'm gonna pick them up shortly.
Yeah, they're right here with the.
I'm stealing them from you.
Bibs.
When I say pick them up, I mean I'm actually going to lift them from you. And
well, there's an expiry date on the bibs, eh? You know that.
Yeah, that's why I'm
if
coming.
If you don't pick them up before a certain time, then
they stay with you.
They're right on top of the and they're right on top of the roller skis and all the good stuff.
Oh,
but
man.
Actually, this here,
yay!
is a Canmore Biathlon bell that I bought 2 seasons ago on the IBU Cup for Ben.
Oh man, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that we're going to update the intro music. We're going to put some cowbell in there.
Yeah, we could do that for sure. How about your team?
Team USA?
Right now. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening down with Team USA. They announced the national team, right? And so it's got all the names you would expect. Except for Chloe Levins is on the development team, and I'm not going to say in her place, but though a surprise woman, Grace Castanguay. I apologize. I've actually never heard her name pronounced out loud, so I'm just doing my best guess. Is in her spot. And I shouldn't say in her spot, but in the spot last year that I believe that Chloe Levins held, and she's along with Deidre Irwin and Kelsey Dickinson and Margie Freed, who comes up from the development squad. And then the men's team, Sean Doherty, Maxime Germain, Jake Brown, and Campbell Wright, the old standbys, along with Vincent Bonacci, another one of the young guys, Vaclav Cervenka, who's another young guy, and Bjorn Westervelt, who just graduated from University of Vermont. He's also very young, and then Nicholas Burkhart is another man joining. So another a lot of familiar names, but again, just like I said last year, and I'll say it again this fall, the men have a lot of young talent coming up, and we saw Campbell Wright really doing some great things, and the relay team had some really solid performances late in the year.
Results. Yeah.
I'm really excited about where they're going to be in the next year or two. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to see. And actually, so and a couple of those guys have been really nice, and I've had questions about things, and they've answered. They've been very patient with me and answered, and given some insight. So I really appreciate them as well.
Have you? Because I was going through their coaching as well, and I saw Sarah Studebaker Hall, which was a name that instantly rang a bell, but I couldn't really place it. But she was actually a 2-time Olympic biathlete. But I didn't know she was involved in Biathlon Canada at this point. Director of Operations.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I wonder how she ended up married. Or how she ended up there.
Well, biathlon's a pretty small world, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I just wonder what the connection was, or if she just. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe she's been on the team forever.
Oh, cool. But, there's an iView article about her from January 4th, 2023. June 4th, 2023, so about a year ago. Sarah Studebaker Hall breaks stereotypes in the world of biathlon as a former athlete, referee, and technical committee member, advocating for improved representation of women in lesser-known nations. Cool.
Awesome.
We'll have to read more about this.
Well, and maybe we can ask our hopefully next guest a little more about that.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then on the development team, we have a lot of names you might recognize as well. Like I mentioned, Chloe Levins, Luke Brown. You might recognize Jackie Garceau, Anna French. They both came up to the World Cup briefly last year. Lexi Madigan. And Tara Garrity-Motes, who we're going to be chatting with soon, who has just a fascinating journey. And thank you, RJ, for getting in contact with her and setting that up.
Yeah, that's no problem. She was very quick to respond, to say that she wanted to get on. So we just need to pick a date, and then...
yeah, and I don't want to say any more, because if you know her story, you know it already. But if you don't, it's really cool. So it's pretty unique. It's the kind of thing that I think you really only see. You don't really see it in bigger nations. You see it in smaller nations like the US or Canada. So excited to talk a lot about that.
I did also see, you were talking about the Canadian national team missing a shop. I did see that USA has a shop.
They do. Gonna have to do something about that.
Team Canada, get on it.
Right.
Sell some of your gear there.
You'd be selling something to this guy, I can tell you that. Has Biathlon Canada, have they announced a summer schedule at all? Do you know?
In what sense? Summer
just
schedule?
Like any of their summer events. You know, don't they usually have like their summer, like their trials or can't remember what they call it.
Yeah, and there is a schedule that I saw, I believe, but No, systems program, national team program, training teams. No,
there it
that's
is.
more.
I got it. North American Summer Championships are in Vermont in August. And then they've got some summer races. They do one in Whistler, and one in Quebec, one in Canmore, one in Soldier Hollow. That take place in August and September and October. And it looks like it's North American, so it's going to be a little bit more, not just the Canadians.
No,
they're doing them all together.
The
Biathlon and U.S. Canada, U.S. Biathlon competitions calendar. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
yeah,
to have a bit of a bigger field, right?
Yeah.
No mentioning of the Blink Festival.
Not on here. Nope. Canada national team trials are in November.
Would not want to go up
wait.
a super steep winding road on roller skis. Come on.
So excellent question, but also really sad story is that I already can't wait for the Blink Festival. So I actually was putting together my my summer biathlon calendar, and I was just really disappointed that we have to wait so long for everything to happen. I guess in the meantime we get Summer Olympics, so that'll be fun. But yeah, Blink is July 31st through August 3rd.
What's your what's the major event you look out for in the Summer Olympics?
I will watch pretty much anything. I like swimming. I was a swimmer growing up, so I'm drawn to that. I don't like track and field as much as I should. I watch it, but I'm not. It doesn't interest me as much. Katie rode horses, so we watched equestrian a lot. Those are big ones. I like cycling, so I'll watch the road race and the for the men and the women.
Tennis in the Olympics?
Some.
Yeah.
I watch plenty of tennis. Otherwise.
So I'm curious, how do you feel about? I don't know if you saw that. Some of the Chinese athletes.
Oh yeah, I saw that
in swimming. Had used a banned substance that the organization that checks that or manages that knew about even before the Olympics there and let them race anyway.
Very frustrating. Yeah, I would love to talk to. Claire Egan about
it. Yeah. It's just one of those. When I hear these stories, you think of all the 20 small steps we've taken up the hill, and then this is just like one giant leap down again.
I watched a documentary recently about Ben Johnson's the 88 Olympics, where Ben Johnson won the 100 meters in like 9.79, but it was really well done because it talked a lot about him, obviously, but it talked about and talked with and about some of the other athletes who were in that particular race and how widespread doping was at that time. And I'm not to say that it's not widespread now or hasn't been widespread since then. Look at everything that happened with so many of the American track athletes in the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, I feel like everybody was eventually caught. But yeah, it was really fascinating. And you think about how that was in 1988, and here we are, and this just happened at the 2021 Olympics, and we're still doing it. It's still the same issues. It's just it's just really frustrating. I don't know how you stop it.
I find the toughest part, I agree that, typically in the long run, some of the high exposure athletes get caught. And I still think to take the experience away from another athlete.
Yeah.
It's great. Let's say, I won a silver or a bronze 20 years ago. And they're like, yeah, we found that the number one was using doping. You're going to get the gold medal. And it's all great. But I'll never get back that experience of being on the top of the podium in an Olympic event. And that's the part that frustrates me almost even more.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. And in this documentary, they talked about how they had the ceremony, right? And everybody received their medals, and it was, the big ceremony. And then when they redistributed the medals, it was just kind of this non-event, right? It was just kind of like, here you go.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't, say, 80,000 people in the stadium who were there in the original handing out, please come back.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But, there's no way of replicating that moment. It is a singular moment. Yeah.
No. But
and there was that
anything else?
Well, I was just going to say one more thing, is that story that Claire told, or that we talked about last summer when we talked to her about the athlete who raced while doping and was just so nervous, right? That it was almost like they were just so anxious every time they raced. It's like, is this worth it, guys? Anyway. But clearly, people make that decision all the time.
I'm sure there's people that did use doping and got away with it, so they'll probably say yes.
Of course, yep. Which is just unfortunate.
But, yeah.
Oh, well.
I did want to mention, I've probably mentioned for about 5 episodes that I was working on some analysis. I'm almost done with a season review of last biathlon season, kind of looking through the eyes of OX Tech, but then a novice one. So I hope to publish that in the next couple of days, if not today.
All right. I look forward to it.
The next one is up, the analysis of the shooting speed of Jacqueline, who shocked the biathlon world yesterday, I think, with announcing that he was saying goodbye. And a lot of people thought he was quitting biathlon, but it sounds like he's just changing ski brand. He switched from Rossignol to another brand. I don't think it was mentioned. My first thought was, is he another one that's pulled into the Machus?
Oh, maybe he is.
Which I pronounce wrong again, but Machus brand. Who knows?
Do you think so?
I don't know. But it seems like they're slowly kind of pushing more athletes, and it must have to do with their binding system, right? That we talked about, where they want to get big names on it to promote it.
Yeah,
because you have to think, like, if they get someone like Liegert, if he wins the World Cup next year on their skis and new bindings. And, someone like Surum does really well, and Boten does really well. Is Surum? Yeah, Surum is on Machus as well, right?
Yeah.
Machus.
Yeah. I think I know where he's going.
Be such an incredible boost, right?
Yeah.
Pardon?
I think I know where he's going.
Where is Surum going?
No, not Surum, but Jacqueline.
Oh.
And he's going to Fisher.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Of all the brands, I would think Jacqueline would not be on Fisher, just because he, seems to be one of those guys who doesn't want to go where
doesn't want to follow the crowd.
Majority of people go, but boo.
No, Jacqueline, make the best decision for you. Don't listen to RJ.
I would listen to me. I'm gonna do this review of his speed completely different now.
I thought so. Yeah. You're gonna put your finger on the scale.
Is it for sure? Did he go into Fisher?
It's not for sure, but just based on comments of some of the people who, yeah,
gotcha.
People who would know.
But I think there was one person who commented going to Machus.
There was one person. Yeah, there was.
Or Matsus. It was yeah.
And I think he's wrong, but.
I probably didn't get any likes either. So.
I'll give you one. All right. Anything else?
Thanks.
We've gone around the bend.
No. Hopefully, we'll talk soon with our guest, and we'll keep an eye on the news, as I'm sure it will start to get a bit more frequent.
Yeah,
stuff coming
absolutely.
out.
And I think next time we chat, so we got the interview coming up. I think we have another one that you and I haven't even talked about yet in June, and then after that, well, well, this is our first time talking about it, but I think that maybe we can go with maybe every other week, as for the summertime, unless something's happening.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, that can work. There was one thing. We always
still
talked about
this,
doing.
I'm impressed. Thank you for listening this long as we this last 15 minutes. We've really been rambling. Sorry.
The youth and junior review and IBU Cup.
Oh yeah. We never did it.
So maybe next week.
This is gonna be one of those things. We just keep teasing it until the next Youth World Championships.
Yeah. Well, I'm also pretty good at teasing my work that's never coming out, it seems. So
nope, it's happening.
One day. It's
right,
happening
guys.
for sure.
We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
Turn us off.
Yeah.
Play the music.
Yeah.